I'd like to talk to you about the experience of my birth with my first child 7 years ago. When we learned that I was expecting, we were very excited. We didn't know whether or not the baby would be deaf or hearing, because all my family are deaf and I've grown up in a deaf environment, whereas my husband is the only one who is deaf, so we were excited to find out. So the pregnancy obviously is 9 months, 40 weeks. And we had to go to the GP to see the midwife every month just for regular checks to make sure everything's okay, make sure the heartbeat's fine. I didn't have an interpreter. I just went to the midwife by myself, and the woman was fine. She made it clear, she gave me a list of things that I should eat, etc., measured my bump. So at 20 weeks I went to New Cross Hospital in Wolverhampton for my 20-week scan. Just to check to see if everything's okay, really. They asked me if I wanted to know whether it was a boy or girl, but we'd agreed that we wanted to keep it as a surprise. I don't know why really, because I've always wanted a girl. I don't know why that is. So anyway, the 20-week scan was fine. So then at 35 weeks, I went to the midwife for a general checkup. She measured my bump and she was a bit surprised actually, because she looked at my notes from the previous month and my bump had grown dramatically. So she referred me to New Cross for a check. When I got there, they said there was nothing to worry about. So I thought that was odd, that, you know, everything was fine. I got my scan and I was shocked, because at the 20-week scan, the picture of the baby is just, you know, a whole picture. You can see his legs, the whole outline. The 40-week scan, the 36-week scan, the baby's head is just so large you can't see anything. I much prefer the 20-week scan when you can see the profile. But they gave me my due date of the 6th of November 2009. They said it could be a couple of weeks early, a couple of weeks late, they just didn't know. So the pregnancy went on, and on the 4th of November my waters just broke. I had people visiting with me at the time and I didn't know what to do, so I went to the bathroom just to check everything was okay. The visitors went, I called my husband, he let New Cross know that my waters had broke and asked them what we needed to do, because, you know, we were first time parents and we were just panicking, we hadn't got a clue what to do. You know, they asked him how long, they asked my husband when the contractions came, how long in between, how painful were they, and they said, it's fine, nothing to worry about, you've got loads of time. And 4 hours later, I packed all my things because the contractions were getting worse, and we went to the hospital and they checked me again. They said, no, it's fine, you've got plenty of time still, so we went back home. All through the night I was tossing and turning. It was absolute agony. My legs were just, wouldn't keep still. My head was everywhere. It was unbearable really. So I phoned the hospital again and they said, okay, come back in. So we arrived again and the doctor did an internal examination. And after all this, I was still only 1 centimetre dilated. And this is 12 hours, and I just couldn't believe it, 1 centimetre. They kept saying to me, it's fine, you've got plenty of time, but we're not going to send you home this time, we're going to stay in the hospital. So they gave me tablets for the pain. And there was a midwife looking after me. And my contractions had slowed down for some reason, so they gave me an injection in a drip to get the contractions moving again. and I could not believe how quickly it came along. I was in absolute agony. So the drip worked, obviously. They asked me if I wanted an epidural, an injection at the bottom of the spine, and I was like, yes, please, absolutely. They told me I got to keep really still. I couldn't move about like I had been, or wriggling everywhere. I said, all right then, all right then. I was so nervous, but I had it. But there are side effects. I became paralysed, like from the waist down. I couldn't feel anything. As soon as they gave it to me, it was such a relief. It was heaven. Because it had been about 20 hours that I'd had all these contractions, and I had no interpreter. I had to rely on my husband. So after a while they checked again, and I was only 22 centimetres. I couldn't believe it. It was about 25 hours and I was just all over the place. So they gave me more in the drip to bring on more contractions. And as I was lying there, I couldn't feel anything, but all of a sudden it just happened really quickly and I started feeling something. So the doctor came in, because this time it had been about 35 hours, and he just wanted to make sure, you know, everything was okay. So he did an internal examination. They were all chatting away with each other. I mean, if there was just one or two of them there, my husband would have been able to understand, but because there was loads of people in the room and they were all talking with each other, we haven't got a clue what was going on. But I did find out that the baby's head was pressing on my pelvic bone, and it wouldn't go down to come out naturally. So the doctor would have to internally try and move the baby's head up and down, just to try and wriggle it out the way. Well, he kept doing it. He did it again and nothing happened. He did it again and nothing happened. And it was just constant. I couldn't believe it. I just had to put up with the pain of it. And by this time, the baby was in real distress. Its heartbeat was going so erratic, and the doctor decided that they'd whisk me off for a caesarean section. So that happened, and the baby came out. And he was born on the 6th of November, exactly on the due date that they told me months before. He was £9 1 ounce, big baby. He was named, and we named him Aiko Langard Tang, my surname and my husband's surname together. Now he's 7. And he's a lovely boy. But he's hearing. We were really shocked. We thought he'd be deaf. But yeah, no, he's hearing. But he both signs and talks, so it's fine.